You all know Philip Cameron. He and his family helped start Christian television. We're in those early days in Portsmouth, Virginia. And Philip, so good to have you here.
It's great to be here, Jim. Both myself and my sons were in Moldova, and the word came out across the nation on the news that they were closing Moldova down at midnight. And we rushed to the airport, and there was one flight, a Turkish Airlines flight.
They were going to close Moldova down where
They
you were.
closed the borders. They closed the borders. They closed the international airport in Chisinau. And the word went out that they were going to spray by helicopter, disinfect the entire city. And we sat in the airport, and absolutely, they were going to fly helicopters over. They may have done it. I was gone, thank goodness. At 20 minutes to 12 in the evening, we managed to get out of Moldova, and we flew to Turkey, to Istanbul. And in Chisinau, they says, we can't promise you any flights out of Turkey. And I thought, well, if I'm in Turkey, it's closer to home than Chisinau is. So we went to the airport and got to Chisinau, and we spent 4 days waiting, and we finally get out at the end. And as we were in Turkey, they were closing Turkey down. And this rolling closure across Europe, because they suddenly realized that this pandemic was out of control, and it was raging everywhere. I took my sons, we went down to the huge market there in Turkey. It's a very famous, there's thousands of shops. And we were the only foreigners in the whole place. And we were viewed with great suspicion. And we got to the airport and got out just at the nick of time as they were closing the airport in Turkey as well. So this thing is, what people have got to understand is this is not just in your town or in your house or in your city or state. This literally has gone across the world. Nations are staggered by this thing. Usually in a crisis, there's one nation that can kind of keep the engine of commerce going. Usually it's America. Everything has been affected. So what the knock-on effect is that if manufacturers can't sell things, they go out of business. Then the people that make the things to sell to the stores, they go out of business. Then the farmers, they can't afford to slaughter the animals, they go out of business. And this chain reaction is going through this aftershocks that's going through the world is as great a problem as the pandemic itself.
Tell me then, you had one plane that there was only one left that was going to go out, and you had to catch it. So, did you catch it?
We got on it, and you talk about rejoicing in the Lord to get out on the air when that wheels came up. I thought, thank you, Lord, I'm out of Moldova. And as soon as I got to Istanbul, the whole crisis started again, because they were closing down, because they were beginning to be affected by this pandemic. And so literally the whole world. Chrissy, how's this for an amazing? We were flying and arriving in Atlanta, and my son Philip, that was with me, came up and said, Dad, I've been on internet and I've just been talking to Mom. And her mom's died. My mother-in-law, Aki, passed away while I was flying home. So when I got to Atlanta, Chrissy had managed to get a flight out of Atlanta, not knowing if or when she could get back to America, but she had to go home. So when we came out of the airplane, you go up the tube and up the corridor into the airport. And when I got up the top of the walkway, here was Chrissy standing on the other side of the glass. She was in departures, and I was in arrivals, so there's this glass between us. And we stood and spoke through the glass for a few minutes, and then she had to catch her flight to London. And her mom died, and the registrar wouldn't sign the death certificate. The doctor wouldn't give clearance to take the body away. And the registrar was waiting for information from the government, because everything's in flux. Everything changes from minute to minute. And they finally, after 3 attempts, were able to bury my mother-in-law. And it went from only 5 people, no service indoors. You can go to the graveside, but only 5 immediate members of the family. And and other staff. So Chris has got, she's one of 5 kids. But that means there wouldn't have been a preacher. My brother Neil had the service, the funeral director. None of those could have been there. And eventually they got it up to 10, and that's how the funeral took place. But it was a terrible thing. And so what I'm saying is this is not just affecting the big things. This is going down to a tiny level of effect in every aspect of our lives. And I've never seen anything. I've been in America for 50 years, and I love history. I'm a student of history, and I've never witnessed anything quite like this before, ever before in mankind as we are so interconnected.